Good evening. The microphone working, and looks like everybody's got a chance to eat, and so it's great to see such a good crowd. My name is Brady DeSanti. I'm the director of the Native American Studies program here at UNO. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Ojibwe Ojibwe Tribal Nation, Hayward, Wisconsin, and it's a great honor to be here tonight and see everybody. Before we get started, it's my honor to have my good friend and brother and departing colleague, Dr. Denny Smith, a Assiniboine, Fort Peck, offer opening prayer.
If you can stand, we appreciate you standing. Aho, Oksitukapa. Omnewashtego, Oshik, Aho. Oksitukapa, Uzbekiab, Ungitawabi, Hinkna, Dean Boocker, Hinkna, Dr. DeSanti, Hinkna, Carolyn Fiscus, Big Mama, Wachegia, Ongita Konagu, Larry Mason, Hinkna, Matt Osborne, Wachegia, Uzbekiab, Ungitoan, Wachegia, Agichidab, Nechi, Hinkna, Tida, Hinkna, Tehadua, Wachegia, Wichashdabne, Wachegia, Hinkna, Dagu Ungichia, Ioha, Dagu Ungichia, Yahoo, Ioha, Wachegia, Aho, Pinamaya. I'd like to take a moment to explain that if I may. If a faculty person has a microphone, it's dangerous. You just want to talk. And I'm retiring. This is my last round. So for us at Assiniboine, I'm very proud and honored that my friend and my brother, Dr. DeSanti, gave this prayer. And apparently I'm an elder. I was thinking that these elders are getting so young today. They look so young. But I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to do this prayer. And I worked real hard for 20 years on my language. And I refuse to do those simple prayers in English anymore. And so I'm honored to do that. And I apologize to these other people that speak our language and Big Mama here. So, but it's an honor to do that for us at Assiniboine. I've been around beautiful people in ceremony a long time. And my teachers explained to us that we think of the Creator, his name is First Boy, and we believe that he resides in the south dimension. We call that in the noonday heavens. So I pray to him as the Creator for us, and I ask that he bless the UNO faculty, the Native Studies faculty, our retiring Dean Booker, Director Dr. DeSanti, and really the grandmother of our program, Big Mom, Carolyn Fiscus. I ask that the Creator then bless our students, our UNO students here. Next, second I ask that the Creator bless our friends. And I use it in our language as our friend. And Larry Mason here he has these beautiful gifts that he makes as an artist, as a ceremonial man, as a Lakota Cheyenne man in the Lakota way. And he does all these things, all these years, of these beautiful things that we wear. I wear this beautiful elk bone that is carved with a horse head and beaded, and he just gives it to us, that we're not worthy. This man makes these for us. And it honors our students, and we carry them for life. I wear this because it blesses me and protects me, and it reminds me of my friends here. And he does this out of the goodness of his heart. So we always want to thank him, and it's just a beautiful thing. And to Matt Osborne, Matt here he's the keeper of our Eagle Feather staff. And the Eagle Feather staff is personal to me. And I thought I would share very briefly. They came to me when I was the director of Montessori College Indian Studies. And I went to a Lakota ceremonial mentor of mine, and I said, my students want a new name for their Indian club. And I gave him tobacco, and then he came, and he came back to me. He brought me a temporary eagle feather staff. It was temporary because I had to have a proper one. And he said, when he prayed for my club, I just want an Indian name. Something cool, maybe in Lakota. And he said, I was instructed in prayer that you need to have a staff. You have to have eagle feather staff. Because I was a young Indian Studies director. I didn't know anything. I had not been part of my own Sundance and ceremonies at that point. And he understood that if you're going to run a Native American Studies program and you're going to do things for your students, you have to have ceremony. I didn't know that. And from that, I went to a Yankton friend, a Hongtawan friend, and this beautiful artist made this gorgeous eagle feather staff for us, made with buffalo hide and beaded. It's just a stunning piece. And when they cut my program at Montessori College, I took that staff and I was been the keeper with it. And when I came to UNO in 2002, I gave it to the Inter-Tribal Student Council as a gift. And that is full of eagle feathers. And I put eagle feathers on that staff in honor of people, as prayers for people. I have feathers there, and other people put feathers there to bless our students and to bless our programs. And that's a sacred object, a living object, and it deserves someone who's worthy of proper care. And that's Matt Osborne. He's one of many of our students. He's an alumni here at UNO. He's a ceremonial man, and that eagle feather staff deserves proper care, and we get that from our friend. He does it out of the goodness of his heart. That's all part of work. That eagle feather staff goes into ceremony, it goes to Sundance, it goes into sweat. And those eagle feathers now, all those things are honored and blessed, so that it can watch over us and protect us. It's watching over us right now. It leads us into powwows. So we thank Matt and Larry Pinamaya for that. Next, I thanked the Creator asked to watch over our students, our graduates. Next, I asked that he watch over our soldiers, our warriors. And I sit in this room, and those are our veterans. I don't know veterans in my language, but the warriors. And I asked that the Creator watch over our warriors, our soldiers who are stateside, and last, to watch over our soldiers who are overseas. Last, I asked the Creator pray for everyone here. And very, very last, to pray that the Creator watch and bless every one of your relatives, everybody, past and present. And we're taught in our ways that that also includes our relatives in the natural world. Oh, pick on.
Thank you, Denny. Next, to get things started here, I have a welcoming song for everybody who traveled here to be with us, and we really appreciate that. So Upstream is going to give us a welcoming song here. started with recognizing our honorees, our graduates, and supporting faculty, and of course deans. So again, I'm Brady DeSanti, the director of the Native American Studies program, and just really quick, this is me finishing up my first term as director, and I plan to do another, maybe longer if need be. But Carolyn, Big Mama, that I'm kind of a stickler for numbers and dates. I don't really forget anything, and this is my 15th year at UNO in a professional capacity. And I was an undergrad here from 1997 to 2002, and Big Mama is the person that accompanied me when I met my biological family, and we might be going back up north this year again, and that's kind of an annual thing, but the pandemic interrupted. And so I just kind of wanted to say that, and it's great to have you here tonight, and that everything turned out with your son. We were really worried about that. So, you want to introduce the other kind of.
He gave me a script, sort of, to follow. Like, you guys that know me. Too bad. No. I'm honored to be able to be the MC again this year. This is my 20th year of being MC. We started these honorings, and I got to thank my friend Beth Ritter. How I got to UNO in 1999, sheesh, that seems 100 years, no, it was about 100, was that she went on sabbatical, and they were supposed to hire somebody to teach for her while she was on sabbatical. And they offered it to another guy, and he turned them down. And I heard it through the moccasin grapevine up at Macy that they had an opening, so I come trucking down here, pounding on their door. They were the CPAX guys at that time. Dave Hinton and whoever that other guy was, I can't remember his name. But anyway, I said, I hear you have a job. Oh no, we don't have an opening here. I said, the hell you don't. I know Beth Ritter's going on sabbatical. You need somebody to teach some intro classes. I'm your man. And they kind of stumbled around and hemmed and hawed, and I think Beth kicked them in the ankles a little bit, and so then they hired me just to cover her sabbatical, and then I stayed forever. It was hard to get rid of me after that. And the funny thing was, I taught a year, and Beth came to me again. I owe her a lot. She did a lot for the program. She came to me and said, hey, you know what, the faculty is talking, and we want to know if you'd be interested in being the director of Native American Studies, their first director. And I said, do you guys know what you're getting? She said, well, I do, but I don't know about the rest of those guys. So anyway, they fell on their head, and the dean, prior to Dean Boocker, whoever that was, I can't remember his name, it started with a B.
Shaw, Hendricks.
No, he was after. Yeah, there was a dean before. He said, okay, let's hire her. So poor Dean Boocker, when he came in, I was already here and had the walls up and the dog soldiers arranged around the outside of the encampment. And so he had to put up with too late. But I really appreciate Dean Boocker and Hinton and all them other guys too, that they took a chance on me. I did not have a PhD. I still don't. And I always tell them, I said, I'm so grateful that I took a chance on a half-breed with no PhD. And I taught here for 20 years. So, and the first year I was here, they had an honoring, and I thought it was kind of small and not good enough for our students. So I convinced Beth and others that we should make it a little more honor-like. So we started with, this is a traditional thing in this part of the country, these honor robes and the feathers and good food. Whenever Indigenous people come together, we eat. And so, we don't just have a glass of iced tea and a cookie from last week. We eat. And Beth let me do all that. She just let me go crazy. So we got it done, and since then the honoring has grown to an event that most of our graduates look forward to more than the graduation ceremony, actually. So we're real happy that Dean Booker went along with that for all these years. And he was the Dean of College and Arts and Sciences for 14 years. And we gotta quit meeting like this. Yeah. Oh, you are, yeah, that's right, yeah. He and I just had a meeting last Friday out at Turkey Creek, and so we had a good meeting out there. So I'm grateful for all that you allowed me to do, and I saw him in the hall earlier in the spring during the COVID. Arts and Sciences like a ghost town at that time. It was just him and I were wandering around, and I can't remember exactly how you put it, but you know, I said hello, he said hello, and I said, I want to thank you for letting me teach. And you said something, you said, thank you for teaching. Like, thank you for being who you are, or something like that. And for those of you who know me real well, that's a really nice compliment to me in my heart. I went home and told my partner even, I said, you know what the dean said? And we were both going to opposite restrooms or something, so you probably don't even remember, but nice guy, good guy. He's been good to us in the program. And it's tough times. We went through a pandemic. Brady said, you're going to have to teach Zoom. I said, I'm not teaching it. I won't cuss, Brady. Brady said, well, Mom, we'll make it as good and easy as we can for you. I said, if I have to teach remote and Zoom, you better find yourself another stinking Indian, because I'm not doing it. And he said, now wait a minute, Big Mom, now wait a minute. And had to go to the dean, I suppose, and get permission. And so I taught in a big classroom with like 10 or 11 kids. We wore masks all semester. Worked out real good, didn't it, Quentin, my buddy Quentin, there was in the class. He brought me Diet Pepsi every time. So we made her through. All of us did. By the grace of God, by the power of the ancestors. And I prayed every day for that, for our kids to be good and our students to be healthy. And we made it. And it's good to see old friends and students that I've had in my classes. I'm kind of confused because you're not sitting in the right place. You know? They always sit in the same chair, so. But I wanted to say that much, and congratulations. Congratulations to you, Dean, for retirement. I think you'll like it. But be careful, this place will drag you back in.
It already has.
Oh. Well, never mind. Good luck to you. And let me know if there's anything I can do. I'd be glad to help you out. And I just kind of would like to say that much. So we would like to call Dean Dave Booker up here so we can honor you. I just want to say one more thing. What we're doing tonight is an old way of recognizing people who are leaders. And especially for the students, there's a time way back when we were all in our villages and our Kyoshbes that a young person would stay in their Kyoshbe or their family group until they got old enough to step up to a leadership role. And that's what we're doing tonight. We're calling on these students to stand up in front of the people and take over their place as a leader. Whether it's a warrior, a dog soldier, a doctor, medicine person, whatever that is. So that's what we're doing, because if they stand up in front of the people like this, and we let the people talk to them, like, you know, there might be, Dale Stover might say, hey Dave, you never did pay me back that $5 you borrowed, or something like that. I'm just kidding. But that's the purpose of this. You have to live your life so that when you stand up in front of the people, there's no doubt that you are a leader. So I want to thank you and congratulations. Yeah. Oh God, get out of the way.
So with Dave, I started here in '07 on the Special Faculty Development Program, that's what it's called now. And Dave came in 2008. And so my professional kind of trajectory here at UNO is kind of tied to Dave. He's the only dean I've really known. And I came here all but dissertation. I had a really hard time finishing up for a lot of different reasons. And you know, there are a lot of deans that would have, you know, I'm sure he probably got pressures like, hey, I was like a future star baseball card that wasn't living up to the potential, apparently. But he stuck with me, and he was always really encouraging, and so I got through it, and I think that I did okay, you know, to this day. And so yeah, Dave, I'm gonna miss having him as dean. I enjoy talking baseball with him and just seeing him in the hall and joking around and so forth. And I think, you know, our relationship, I was joking the other day, I think I've always been politely annoying. That's probably how he would characterize me. But I will let Dave say a few words here.
So, first of all, thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. I want to say that this was completely unnecessary. I'm very honored to be honored, but I want to respect what's going on here tonight and really say we're here tonight to honor the students, the faculty, and the program. And so congratulations to all of the students who are graduating, and to all the students who have graduated in the past, and to all the students who are graduating in the future. This is an amazing program. You can see tonight how special the program is, because there aren't many programs on this campus that do for students what this program is doing for you tonight, and I hope you'll appreciate that. I'm sitting next to Dale, who's talking about going back to 1992, Carolyn, Big Mama, and Brady. Brady, I'm so proud of you because you have come a long way since 2008, really. And I couldn't have seen you doing what you're doing right now in 2008. And now you've taken control of this program, and it's an amazing program, and you're doing great things with it, and I'm very proud of you. Beth, thank you so much, because you were the director, I believe, when I got here, and so it was a pleasure to work with you. It's just been an amazing opportunity to be Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and an amazing opportunity to work with this program, to see what this program does for students, because that's really ultimately what we're all about at UNO, is to do the best thing we can do on behalf of students, and this program does right by students, as you can tell tonight. So, again, I'm honored, I'm humbled, because I don't want this event to be about me, it's about you, and it's about this program, and it's about Brady and Carol and Beth and Denny. Denny was a director, and so those are the people who should be honored tonight and revered as the ones who are making all of this happen. So thank you, I appreciate it. Brady, congratulations. Appreciate it. Thank you.
The ex-dean just corrected me. He's going back to English department to teach, so they're not letting him off the hook. Next up, we'd like to honor our brother, Dr. Denny Smith. He is Fort Peck Assiniboine. I called him a Rickaraw for the first 5 years, I think, that I knew him, but from the history department. And Denny is retiring. So we'd like you to come up and receive your honors, sir.
Dr. Howell, you can come forward.
Denny was talking about the Eagle staff, and when I first became the director here, we had a student organization that was, you know, not really getting along, and I thought, and I heard from other folks, they need an Eagle staff. So I talked to Denny about making one, because in our Northern Plains cultures, the feather work and stuff is men's work. Not that the women can't do it, but it's more power if we have our warrior men do the Eagle staff. So I asked him if he would make one, and he said, I have one. just like that. And I thought, what? And so then he brought that, and I like fainted. That's beautiful. And the student organization over the years has done a lot of service stuff, and we graduate a lot of kids, and they do a lot of good things on the campus. And for our Native communities, we have a large Omaha Native community. It's estimated at 5,000 population. That's the largest reservation in the state of Nebraska. I call Omaha the Asphalt Reds, because we have so many tribal people here and tribal programs. And the kids do good work out there. We've done a lot of community work out there. So a lot of those eagle feathers come from us old timers out here who know they've done meritorious things, so we give them a meritorious award. And that's we got an award for Denny tonight. These robes are a symbol of honor too. And if someone was gonna graduate or something from school or whatever, we would put that on the floor and they would stand on it and receive their degrees. That's Omaha way, as I understand. So we award them these Pendletons for their merit. It's like an eagle feather. So thanks, Denny, for putting up with me all those years. It's been fun. You know, sharing stories. He's a Sundance man. We're Sundance people too, our family, so it's nice to share that belief and that worldview. It's a bear claw. You're a bear fan, are you? Oh, good thing. I'm not sure about this. Tribal taboos. And some of our tribes, like the Omaha and Winnebago, we have taboos around our clan relationship with our relatives. When they make their journey, what we can do and not do with feathers and hides and teeth and claws and whatnot. So I just wanted to make sure we caught that. Anyway, I just wanted to say that much. Thanks, Denny.
So after I say a few words here about Denny, I'd like to open it up to anyone else, from here on out who'd like to say a few words. Denny, I can't imagine a Native Studies program here at UNO without your presence in some capacity. And, I'm somebody that it's hard to let go, and so it's going to be just so weird, particularly since we're back on campus, for the most part, luckily. But I have benefited from, probably the biggest benefit I've had from you, aside from your leadership, is that your consistently in a good mood. And, this job and this in academia and so forth can really throw you for a loop sometimes. And you've been a stabilizing force, particularly the past 2.5 years. Things have been kind of tough. And so you've been there, and I know I can always call you or text you and rely on you. You've done such good work. And that has helped keep me going. It's helped keep the program going. And you've been a great influence on our students. And probably, your best characteristic, and I love to see this, is just what a good father you are, and grandfather now. You are the ultimate family man, and that's inspiring to see, to see that sort of love that you have for your daughters, your grandbabies. And so I know, I'm not without hope, because I know you're going to stay on in some capacity in the EC, and we can thank Dr. Haliga for that, right? So, but not having you around teaching and so forth, it's going to be different. But I just wanted to say thank you for being such a good person and a good influence for all these years. You have a lot to be proud of, and so we love you. And I'd like to open it up to anyone else that would like to say a few words for Dr. Denny Smith.
Yapi.
Oh,
Chante Washte Nape Chus Papu.
oh.
I greet each of you with a good heart. My time with Denny, my interaction with Denny, is a reminder that sometimes even the smallest things that we do can impact so many people and have a deep and lasting impact in someone's life. Denny bringing the staff to UNO changed my life. It allowed me to reconnect with my family, and it helped me straighten my life out. My fondest memory of Denny was as a student. And it was the last couple of weeks of class. And during that period, Denny became much more animated, much more emotional about the topics that he was talking about. And it was in that time that I made a connection with Denny. It was before the staff ever came up. And it was in that moment that showed me you never know what relations you'll make just by being yourself.
Good evening. My name is Beth Ritter, and I have the privilege to have walked a beautiful journey with this man, and it's not over yet. I think I can safely say that some of the best days of my life and some of the worst days of my life were shared with Denny. And I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. He has such a beautiful spirit, such a beautiful heart. He's done so much for this program. And we owe him, we all owe him so much. And if you've been one of Denny's students, I'll just leave you with this. Does that make sense? Sorry, that's something Denny says in his classes, in his lectures. And so anyway, I love you. I know you're not going anywhere, but we will miss having you as a regular member of our faculty. So thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being a good human being.
Hope, you know. Well, Brady, you touched my heart. I'm honored for the first time that my Michushi, my daughters are here. My daughter Paula and that noisy grandchild over there, and her mother is Emma. And my youngest daughter is up in Rochester. She'll be here Friday. And Mita Koji, my grandchildren, 3 grandchildren of 4 are here. I'm really honored. I do my thing, and Dad does his stuff, and they know I do it because I like to do it, and they have lives, and I'm just glad that they're here for this great thing. And I really thank 2 people in my time here at UNO, and I wouldn't be here without Big Mama. And there was no job when I came here in 2002, and I got a call at Sioux City, and District Department called me and said, "Hey, we'd be interested in talking to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be there in about an hour." And I've been looking for jobs, and I just finished my PhD, and I didn't have a job, and I lost my, got ripped from my job at one side. And Big Mama had taken my visa and told some dean, Dean Shelton, they need to hire me. And I got a call. There were no jobs. I've been looking for job searches every day. 3 daughters to worry about. I needed Denny needs shoes here. And so Big Mama, I owe you so much, and I told you that, and I thank you personally for that. And then I wouldn't be the same person here without my friend Beth Ritter. Always my best friend here at UNO, and I have lots of friends here at UNO. And so Beth saved my career here, and she's a good friend. I didn't do anything wrong. I need some advice, I need some good things, and she helped me. Because sometimes you need people to help you out, and she did that. And so, as far as I'm concerned, to be honest with y'all, I'm blessed by what Barry said to me, but at the end of the day, the Creator, He's led me down this path. I didn't have a choice on where my career went when I made the decision to do this. Doors open for me. I'm not worthy of that. I tell people that all the time. It's just, people aren't as lucky as I've been. These elders walked into my life, and they directed me, and these elders, everyone is gone. And this is not, I'm not really, I studied hard, but the path that was open for me is out of my control. And I honestly don't know why that is. And I, of course, did my best, and I always feel that I could do a little better, like all of us. So I'm really honored. I love this program, and I love the faculty that I work with in history, and I love working with the students. And I also want to thank Dean Booker, who was the person who signed my tenure. So I owe him. But I'm honored to be here, and you're all very kind to me. And I want to thank my brother Larry for this beautiful pipestone that I'm wearing underneath this, that no one has seen, a beautiful another gift. So, Pinama.
Now we're starting on the students, and here's the deal I learned a long time ago from an old Lakota man. He was telling us about what Ikche Wichasha means. Ikche Wichasha means when it's time for you to step up to lead, you have to stand up in front of the people. That's a common man in Ikche Wichasha. But another old Lakota man told me there's no gender in that. In our language, is gender oriented, right? You say this for a female, this for male, this for neuter, and on and on and on, or an animal or whatever. But Ikche Wichasha means that as a child, you raise up in a family and you pay attention and watch and learn. Because someday your time is going to come up to lead that teoshpe or that family. So you need to be able to stand in front of the people and take over leadership. I've seen this happen at Sundance where they have a new Sundance chief appointed. And then they let all the Sundancers talk about that new chief. What do you think? You know, is he or she going to be a new good leader for us? So that's why we do this with our students. They have to stand up here and face the people, and then the people get a chance to talk about them and to them and for them. So our first student that we're going to talk about is Sarah Brumfield. If you'll come up here, Sarah. There's a term in Indian country or in ceremony where we dress the person who is being honored. Or if someone is sick or having a hard time, if we're having a ceremony for them, we get them new clothes and dress them. So that's what we're doing with our graduates. We're dressing them with this robe, with a feather. These are things that they can use in their ceremonies from here on. So Sarah Brumfield is a graduate minor in Native American Studies and earned a master's in sociology anthropology. So they're going to dress Sarah. And if anybody out there has something they want to say, get in line. Come on up here. This is your chance. Larry's teaching them stuff, see, about each sacred object he teaches. That's good. Beth, you want to let Beth go first?
Live dangerously for just a minute here. My heart is so full tonight. I'm so proud of Sarah Brumfield. Sarah came to UNO 16 years ago? 2005, okay, 17 years ago. Long enough for her to see both of her children as babies. And she came and did an undergrad degree at UNO, and then she came back. And when she came back, she decided she wanted to do an MA in sociology with a minor in Native American Studies and a minor in history. She's an overachiever. And she asked me immediately if I would be her advisor, and I was thrilled to do that, especially because she already knew what she wanted to do, which is a big part of the secret to finishing her thesis. And I want to talk for just a minute about her thesis because it is so important. She did research actually that helps us to validate that taking an intro to Native American Studies class reduces prejudice and potentially discrimination as a gen ed class. So we have a lot of gen ed classes at UNO, but none of them have that same effect as taking intro to Native American Studies. So I think if that's a goal that we can all get behind, that we should have less prejudice about Native people, then we should support intro to Native American Studies. She's got the statistics to back it up. So I'm very, very proud of Sarah. She's been on quite a journey here. She's really taken advantage of her time in graduate school, and she's become such a good friend of mine. Just could not be more proud of her. And I'm going to miss her. I think the plan is maybe to go off for a PhD at the University of Kansas, which she should. So maybe she'll come back to UNO as faculty someday, which would be wonderful. So congratulations, Sarah. Love you. So proud of you.
And Sarah, I did get a chance to read your thesis, and it's really well done. And you've had such a long history with the program. I've gotten to know you, quite well. We both have these sort of geek interests, except I'm more in Indiana Jones. I think you're Star Wars, and I like Star Trek. But you've just worked so hard, and you've become kind of just this presence around campus and around Native studies and so forth. That it's not going to be the same without you. And one of the things too that really touched me is that you dedicated your thesis to our beloved friend, departed friend, Kathy Warren. And I know that you have a long history, and the way that you handled that terrible episode that happened with Kathy. You said some really encouraging things to me, and I'm sure to other people, to help get through that time period. And so I'm really proud of you. And if you do go to the University of Kansas, there's some guy named Brady James DeSanti, who's also an alumni there, alumnus. So congratulations, Sarah. We're very proud of you. And best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm totally not going to cry, but I probably will cry a little. As Beth and Brady said, this has been a very, very long journey. I started here in 2005. Didn't want to do a minor, but then I took Beth's intro class in 2006 and went home and decided, I can do the minor. And I was going through a really hard time in my life. My dad was fighting a brain tumor. And what I found in the Native Studies department was a family. They instantly took me in, they supported me through every step of the way. I never thought I'd be back here. I actually just saw on Facebook my memories. It was 14 years ago that I graduated and had the ceremony, and to be back here again, before everyone means more to me than, words can even begin to describe. It's been a long path. It hasn't always been easy, but I had this amazing support system, besides my husband, TJ, and my girls, Ava and Zoe. Just, everyone, Brady, Beth, Big Mama. I got to take one of her classes. And just everyone, it's been so great, and it's going to be sad to go and to leave this family, but I know I always can come back. So thank you, everyone.
Our next graduate with a Bachelor's of English is Keegan Ehlers. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I do not know Kegan, so I can't tell any stories on him. But we're proud of you. Congratulations. These guys can impress you. The idea, oh yeah, and then we got the drops they can wear on their graduation gowns. We had to do a fight for that, for the kids to wear them. Isn't that ridiculous? And kind of sets them apart from the rest. I started making those drop things about 20 years ago. I never in my wildest dreams thought that they would catch on. And then every year we got to make them. And, everybody always says, oh, I don't know how, I don't want to, I don't know how. So I've been stuck. My family's made them now. This is our 20th year. Congratulations, Kegan.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Barbara Robinson. I am a literature specialist in the Department of English. So, yeah, I know this guy. And I thought I would maybe take a slight different, very path from the kinds of talks we've had about the students at the we were chatting in underclass the other day, and I said, you have to remind me, I don't remember the classes we took. And that's, there's a reason for that. Of course, we all know what the impact COVID had on it. It's just a devastating period for all of us. What many of you may not know is that in April of 2020, my husband died. And so I had that as well as with the COVID stuff. And it does weird things to your memory. So everything just kind of gets scrambled in there. So I looked it up. I had to go back and say, okay, what classes are you taking? And so I guess my point is that, like we were talking about, that it meant something not only to you, but it meant something to me that we were in those classes together. So he took that first fall when I came back, was in the fall 2020, he took my major figures class, and so we looked at some of those canonical Native American writers. And I guess that kind of thing was grounding to me. It's kind of challenging for you guys, but you got through it pretty well. And then the next one was the teaching Native American literature, which was the first time I was doing the class remotely. My department coordinator took video on me since I was coming out of a difficult bereavement. So I was actually in the classroom that first semester, and so that's what we were talking about. So it really meant something at that moment to be like one of the few classes where we were in person. And then we did transition to the remote. We got through it, and it was different. And now this one where we had he took my survey of Native American literature, which was finished last semester, and I think we had a lot of fun in there. We were trying out some cool things, different kinds of projects, and some fancy things, right? Yeah, pretty nice. So anyway, it's been a delight to have you in these last 2 years, and the more because we like, I guess, helping each other in this academic setting. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Ramos. I appreciate it. Like you said, a lot of our classes I took were mainly literature classes, and I'll be teaching as of this upcoming year, so hope to be furthering that. And a lot of the students that I do teaching, a lot of non-American studies and literature is not taught in a lot of schools, so I do hope to continue you.
I took a little nap. Our next student to stand in front of the people is Maegan Hanway. Well, there she is dancing her way up here. Maegan earned her bachelor's in religious studies. We're doing this so long, I still don't know when I need to go sit down. I don't want to get in the way and have Denny throw a blanket over me, and that means we're married. It's true.
All right, well, this is really special for me to be able to talk a little bit about Maegan. As a religious studies major, Maegan, you know, I think I've told you before, even in classes, that I've been extremely lucky at UNL with having just excellent upper level classes. The students have always been just great to work with, and really kind of expand their horizons and so forth, and I really appreciate that. And by far, you know, I can say this in front of everybody here, that you're one of the best students I've ever had. Your work ethic and your dedication. You know, I think your interest in religious studies was in ancient Mediterranean and ancient Near East. And you took kind of a gamble on taking my holy terror, religion and horror. You took shamanism, I think you took native religions. And these are outside of sort of your kind of frame of reference, and you excelled at those courses. And you work towards it, and you just did a great job. You put forth a lot of effort, and I don't know how many minors you had. I talked you into doing the native studies, so what do you got to lose? She said, yeah, what's more money, you know, but you really did a good job, and your dedication during COVID, we all have these kind of COVID, you know, experiences, and I was, you know, in my shamanism class, last year, I would use Zoom so that students, you know, if they wanted to Zoom in, it would be in person. And your dedication, it was on display. You were getting your car fixed, your car had stopped, and you were Zooming from your phone from the mechanic. And so I thought, well, you know, kind of raise the bar that, you know, students don't have an excuse. But I just wanted to say, I know you're going to graduate school, and you're going to do a great job. You have that work ethic. You're also just very much a team player. You're always so respectful to other students, and it's been an honor to get to know you and to work with you. And so I'm just really proud of you. And I'd like to open this up for anybody else that would like to say a few words for Maegan. Me looking around, looking off.
Okay, well, I did not prepare a speech, but, so I'm planning on getting my master's, maybe a PhD, we'll see. I'm going to the University of Toronto to study Egyptology. So this is a great program. I really appreciate Brady writing one of my letters of recommendation. Super thankful for that. But also, I just value just the different perspectives that I've been open to in this program. And really, I think the biggest thing that I value the most is just being open to how we can reconcile ourselves, or how we can reconcile people. And so inspired by the resilience of Native people. And yeah, I think that's definitely something that will continue to inspire me. So thank you.
Our next student who has to stand in front of the people is Paul Jensen, who earned his bachelor's in history. He looks amazingly like Denny. Oh, that's not him. Oh, there's Paul.
Okay, and so Paul, you know, you, as a fellow historian, you know, my kind of a little secret a lot of people do know now, but I'm in the religious studies department, but my master's and PhD are in, you know, history. And so when you took some of my classes, native religions and shamanism, you added a really unique perspective. You have a very interesting way of kind of evaluating the information. You have a unique background, and so your life experience oftentimes, you would share that with the class, and I think you're going to excel in graduate school. I think are you going to New Orleans? Hopefully, okay. So I didn't want to just let that, but I'm really proud of you. You've done great work working with me. I know you've worked with some of my colleagues, and everybody has nothing but positive things to say about you. So just keep up the good work, and hope you keep in contact if you ever need advice. I know myself and Dr. Alexander enjoyed talking with you about graduate school, and if you ever need to know kind of what to expect, we're happy to share that knowledge with you. But thank you for being such a good student and just a good person, so thank you. By all means, continue to eat. We ordered a ton of food. We do have Ziploc bags too for
I only got to know Paul one semester this semester, and it's so much fun. And so I'm the one to blame for his affection for Crazy Horse. And we worked that book pretty hard in my civ history class. And I've been impressed when we talked with such a small class. We had a lot, we were pretty relaxed. And Paul was really sophisticated about like what the ceremony is, and when we talk about these in class. And I don't usually see that in students. And then he talked about all the courses he'd taken from Brady. Apparently he was paying attention because it was pretty good on the whole thing. So, and the last thing I know about Paul is he's a musician, and all I remember, I don't know his type of music, I'm from a different generation, but he does like it loud. So that's our guy. Many talent.
I didn't know I was going to have to give a speech. Thank you to all the faculty. Thanks for the kind words, Dan, Brady. I didn't even know that the university had a Native American Studies program at all, except for Dr. Shear back there. And he just kind of offhandedly said, like, you could look into that. And I'm really glad that in this casual way, like, that changed a lot for me, and it changed my perspective on how to look at the world, and all the small things matter. Thank you, guys.
Okay, our next student that has to stand in front of the people is Bobbie McWilliams. She's from the Osage Nation. She has a Bachelor of Science in Arts in Studio Art and Bachelor of Arts and History in Art History. Ooh, that's a lot of reading. I'll go ahead and talk about her while she's getting dressed, while they're dressing her. Bobbie made the mistake of taking my storytelling tradition class. And in that, there was, there were 10 students, I suppose. And what we did the whole semester was write different kind of stories that, like their own story, but it was like a trickster story. They were a superhero, they had superpowers, and they had to write their own stories. And then I promised that I would get them copied and staple them in a book. Well, you guys that know me know I'm not gonna do that. But she had some, what was it, special, oh, it was for the honors. Yeah, for honors credit, she said, I'll do it. And so this is right in the depth of COVID. We had to meet secretly in Ottawa at the Dairy Queen to switch people. She lives up north there by me where I live. She did it, and I handed them out, and the students really liked them, and I still have a couple pretty in my file somewhere. I really was grateful, because that turned it back to the students, and they really enjoyed reading their own stories that they had, and everybody else's too, you know. So I want to thank you for that. You saved me, because I wouldn't have done it. It was too much time. I don't have internet at home or a computer, and you know, wham, wham, wham. But anyway, so thanks, Bobbie. You did a good job.
Bobbie, I have the honor of meeting you tonight, and we've had some pleasant correspondences. And I did want to say I have heard nothing but positive things about you and your academic skills and knowledge. Dr. Regina Robbins speaks highly of you in your role as a cancer research intern for the Youth Enjoy Science Research Education Training Program at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. And I understand that you've worked with many educational boards, committees, and in service learning projects to promote health and wellness, with cultural-based art projects and exhibits and many different local events and activities to support students and teachers. And I know that you've collaborated with university students and professors, their community-based organizations, and local artists and cultural educators through UNO's prestigious learning, Service Learning Academy and other research programs. And congratulations on being admitted into UNO's History Graduate Program as well.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for this program. It's been awesome. I'd like to thank Dr. Regina Robbins, even though she's not here tonight. I know she wishes she could be. I'd like to thank Big Mama. Your class was awesome and so much fun. And I'd like to thank Brady. It's wonderful to meet you. I also like to say that my children and my husband is here, and my children are here, and my mom, Suzanne Walsh, traveled all the way from Oklahoma to be here tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Dr. DeSanti, you've got somebody else who wants to speak.
Oh,
sorry.
somebody else wants to talk about it.
Oh. Thanks,
I work along with Dr. Regina Iadot and Aislinn Rookwood for the Youth Enjoy Science program, a Native American-based program. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobbie. But really, we're here to honor you tonight and all that you've done. I just wanted to speak briefly about her role in the Youth Enjoy Science program. She's been one of our longest standing scholars. She's done a lot of really innovative research. She's a published researcher. So we're so incredibly proud of the work that she's done and what she's contributed, utilizing indigenous research methodology and combining that with arts-based research. It's really innovative stuff that even our program officer in the National Cancer Institute, the largest cancer research institute funding agency in the world, has acknowledged as something that's up and coming and very inspiring and innovative, and more work like that is being encouraged by our program officer now because of what she's done. So I'm really grateful that I've been able to work with you as a colleague. You are truly a colleague. And besides that, just also getting to know you as a person, such a wonderful person, Bobbie, and I'm so grateful to be here in this space with you tonight. So thank you for that invitation.
This student just makes me laugh every time I think about her. She joined my class, and she came into class, she sat in the front row in the corner, threw her legs up on the desk, and I thought she was just gonna go sleep. But, and then I found out she had an interesting name, and her name is Bella Phillips from the Omaha Nation. She majored in social work. She's graduating, and we'd like to honor Bella. When I found out that Bella was Omaha, I worked on the Omaha Reservation for many, many years, so I was asking her, who are you? Who's your family? Who's this? I know everybody up there that's her family. And her mom is here tonight, and we're honored. Are you still in London?
Yeah, I'm still.
Oh, yeah. Bella, you say, oh, my mom is in. I said, where's your mom? Who's your mom? So she told me, she said, well, she's in London. I said, what kind of Indian is that? But she was an excellent student, and we had a class that had a lot of international students, and one day we had a feast, and they brought all kinds of food, and Bella brought the soup, which any of you who know in Indian country, if you don't have soup, you aren't having a feast, right? So she brought the soup, and she had a real complicated story about how she got it made and everything, which I never believed, but we ate it, so. And she was a good student, too. So congratulations.
So I've gotten to know Bella throughout the last few years, and while I never had you as a student, I feel like I've had you as a student, but you know, you have an excellent reputation, and you're always so supportive. I know that you work really hard, not just at school, but in your nonprofit and so forth. And Dr. Maya Tom said something, that she wanted to comment on some of her students that she's had. She's one of our part-time instructors, adjunct, global indigenous specialist, just a great instructor. She's Walker River Paiute, so she wanted me to read a few things for all of you. So this is from Dr. Tom. Greetings to my dearest students and colleagues at UNO. It leaves a massive pit in my heart that I'm unable to be there in person today. But I will be watching you from the YouTube live stream, cheering every one of you on from behind my computer screen. Over the past 2 years, I've had the privilege and pleasure to teach Native American Studies online. This has allowed me to meet a number of you. Each of you has blown me away. Your unique gifts, ways of seeing the world, and your theoretical and academic tenacity through the dialogues we've had over discussion boards, during office hours, and your written assignments. Yes, even you, class Tolstoy, you know who you are, and I think we will see him momentarily. You have been amazing students, and not just students, but contributors to a digital learning community in which you've each dealt with new and sometimes difficult material. Admittedly, perhaps too much reading at times from me. Bella, Gary, Lilly, and Bobbie, I am excited to see where you will all go, whether in your studies or the professional world. You are the pride of Indian country, your nations, your families, your peers, and your professors. Starting with myself, Penjo, or thank you for being part of my time at UNO and such scholarly badasses. And Bella, whenever you're ready, get thee to graduate school. 5 exclamation points. I'd love to co-author a publication with you someday. Anybody would like to say anything else about Bella? Here's your chance.
Take courage.
Not one for public speaking, but I'm really happy to be here today. And I really appreciate all the support that I've gained from both the Intertribal Student Council and the Native American Studies faculty. I'm very appreciative of this. I'm content to, well, I've always been content to go through school, just keep my head down and do my homework and have it be just like that. But I don't think the faculty has let me do that. They've definitely become somewhat of a family to me, so I'm very appreciative of that. And for Dr. Tom, I do plan on going to grad school, just I would like a break here. I'm very tired of homework, so I'm appreciative of her and the classes that I've been taking. Thank you too for being my professor and all of the faculty that I've taken classes with as well. Thank you.
next student who needs to stand in front of the people is Gary Saul. He's Shichangu Lakota, Umaha, Ho-Chunk, Ponca, Santee, Dakota, and he majored in interdisciplinary studies. It's a good thing with all those tribes. And he also worked in our office. He's been a good help to me this last year, so. We're getting dressed here.
So this is actually just probably the biggest honor I've had as the director of Native American Studies, to be able to meet Gary, and just, it's been an odyssey, like the Lord of the Rings movies, just so many ups and downs, and you know, I had something written out. I think I'll just kind of, you know, ad-lib it here, kind of from my heart, from my memory. I think that in many ways, my beginning as director of this program and Gary's entrance as the office associate are kind of intimately kind of entwined, kind of dual destinies. And so I took over the program, and I think it was August 19, 2019. It was hitting the ground running, you know. Financially, the university seemed to be okay at the time. There was no foreshadowing of this plague and the pandemic and all the ensuing chaos. But for me, I'm very much, you know, I'm a person that my skill set is like comic books and obscure horror movies and Major League Baseball, the Yankees, and so forth. So the prospect of taking over a program, it was just overwhelming. And we didn't have any office support at the time. And so, you know, around that same time, again, our good friend Kathy got sick about a week after I took over. And I was, you know, I was kind of, there's a Buddy Guy lyric, he says, I'm drowning on dry land, and that's what it felt like, real good. And then so we finally got a student worker, and that was helpful. You know, I appreciated a little bit, every assistance I could get. But it was in December of 19 that we were finally able to hire Gary. And Gretchen Carroll, a good friend of the program and the former office associate, kept telling me, well, just hold on, I've got this guy named Gary Saul, and he says he knows you. I said, I don't know Gary Saul, you know, because I had this good memory, right? Well, it turns out Gary, you know, he's had kind of a long path to getting this degree. And so apparently in like 2014, he was in one of my world religions class that at the time, and Ash 101 was a former swimming pool, I've since found out, before they renovated it now. And so I have like 100 students in there. And I think you came to 2 classes, you said. I said, well, yeah, that's why I don't remember if you sat back, and somehow you still earned an A in second class. But when I met Gary at I think there was a Native Heritage Month in November of 19, and we said, yeah, you're probably, you know, going to get hired, just hold on, and things take a while. But, and we immediately hit it off, you know, and I consider Gary like a brother. He corrected my pronunciation of the Nordic pagan traditions, Asaucher, and I was saying Asaucher or something. You were very polite about your correction of that. But it was just this sort of encyclopedic knowledge that he had. He's very well read, and he works very, very hard. And so when he was hired, you know, this was kind of a bonanza for me, because the less I have to work, the better off I feel, right? So things were going well until obviously the pandemic hit. I remember in March, right before we went on lockdown, we were wondering how to spend all this distance ed money. Because Native Studies, you know, for a long time survived on distance ed money. And we were like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And then we went on lockdown, and of course everybody knows that, the kind of the ensuing story. And once that happened, through no fault of anybody's own, it just became kind of a ghost town. You know, we couldn't be on campus. And so Gary and I just kept in contact, and we immediately decided that, you know, we needed to keep Native studies at the forefront of people's sort of consciousness. And so any opportunity we had to do a Zoom chat, like for a music class with a couple hundred people, we met with people in the community that had questions about Native issues, and we took every opportunity to do that. And he was right there by my side doing it, and he's very professional. And so for that was basically the saving grace for me as director. Through the pandemic, the early days, it was Gary Saul who basically took charge of a lot of different duties and did it basically with honor and integrity. And probably what exemplifies this most about, I can't call you young man, I'm only my early 40s, and but I'm getting to that point. But you know, in the summer of 2020, things got pretty dicey, you know, around campus for a lot of different reasons, and we were in danger of losing our full-time line in Native American Studies, you know, where we house someone in a home department. And Dean Boocker was, you know, he was on top of it, and of course I probably annoyed you by how many times I asked, like, hey, what are we going to do? What about this? What about that? So Dave was a great partner. But we were in danger. It came down to the wire, and I kept pushing. I started in June of 2020 to see if we could do an opportunity hire, and the answer was no. Many times not from Dave, from people above him. And we finally found kind of a connection, kind of a selling point, kind of a social justice issue, and we finally got permission to do it at the end of June 2020, maybe early July. And you know, me and Dr. Melanie Bloom wrote a proposal to bring Dr. Suzanne Walsh here on a tenure track line to put her in the history department. And we worked really hard on this. And I have to say, I don't really say a lot of good things about myself, but it was a really good proposal. We were pretty beside ourselves. And we got word at the end of August that upper administration really liked it. And so, you know, I felt pretty good. Everybody did. I wanted to do a little dance if I danced. I don't. I wanted to. I felt so good. But then we didn't hear anything for months. And that's a scary feeling, because you invest that much, and this has just been a long process. So anyway, Gary, who's, you know, now he's the outgoing president of Intertribal Student Council. He was meeting the Student Senate was meeting with the upper administration about a smudging policy to get, you know, permission to do that in the dorms and so forth. And one of the student senators or something said, you know, Gary, you ought to talk to the, you know, senior vice chancellor, and he'll take care of you. And so they did. And Gary had the initiative to, you know, have other Native students meet, and they very politely, gently, and carefully inserted the need to have more Native representation in our program, to have that line saved. And I wasn't there, but however it went down, I got a call the next day from Dr. Bloom, and they said, it's a go. And that was in October of 2020. And the rest is history. And so for that, I just really want to say that, you know, that means a lot, you know, what Gary and the students, and that's why I was a member of the Tribal Student Council, you know, as an undergrad. And there's a lot of power there, particularly when the students work with faculty and so forth. And I also know that Gary, you know, the things you've overcome, you know, you could have turned out many different ways, and you came out and you turned out to be you. And you're a very good person, and I wish people knew the struggles you've had, and you didn't let it define you. What defines you is who you are now, and the skill set that you possess. And so I'm very proud of you. I want to present you, you know, with an eagle feather. This is something basically that you've more than earned it, you know, by what you've done and what you've meant to this program. And so thanks for letting me kind of carry on about that. But I just want to share some of that history so that people can appreciate who Gary Saul is and what he's meant to Native American studies, particularly during the pandemic. He stood up, and it was, you know, it was easy just to kind of walk away and so forth. It was a hard job, and he stuck with it. And so I'm really proud of you, Gary.
Gary's sister. I just wanted to let you know that you're both in front of you. Sorry, but I'm really proud of you. We're all proud of you. And you worked really hard. I love you.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Brady, for everything that you said. That means truly an awful lot to me. It really does. I don't even think words would describe how much. I'd actually just like to, well, I'm a lot more nervous than I thought I would be. So, but yes, my time here, I had kind of some things to say, but I think I'm just going to kind of wing it. But yeah, my time here, I would say, it's felt like an incredibly long journey over these last 3 years, especially with the pandemic and everything like that. But I feel, I just want to say that I don't think that I could have done it without the support of Brady as a good friend and close ally, but also the students that in Intertribal Student Council as well. When I first came back in 2019, I started really just kind of diving in. I had a full-time job that had like good benefits and stuff like that at the time, and I was just sort of straightening my life out, and so it was a big gamble for me to go back to school. And I quit that job in order to go back to school because they didn't have a part-time job, like a part-time position for me. So I came back and I didn't have any job lined up or anything like that. And I just showed up, enrolled in classes. It was like, it was kind of a spare of the own decision. I did it like in 3 weeks. And a little brash. But when I got here, I found myself greeted and welcomed in a way that I definitely needed by Intertribal Student Council and also Gretchen Carroll, who was at the time the outreach coordinator and previous office associate. And it was with her support and guidance, and also the support and guidance of my friends in ITSC, including our former president, Alex Walker, also Jordan Matsula, that I really felt that I had found the support of other natives. And I feel like that there's some kind of medicine in that. I think that that you can't really find anywhere else, you know. And also, I made some good friends along the way as well. Good friend of mine, Lilly Torres, also. We got through Dr. Schuster's geography class together. It felt like, you know, kind of by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, and just making friends and finding the support of other Native students on campus through ITSC and through the program here in Native Studies made a huge difference in my ability to complete, to even be able to complete a degree, I think. And really without it, I don't think I would have been able to complete that degree. So, I just wanted to say some things also in Lakota. So, Keegan Ehlers, Koka Chontewash de Nawaji, Leila Temontuash, Donawi and the Chasha Ea Wika Etamati, Lau Tipi Kena, Womakia Ka Shnihanta, Lau Wahi Huni Krishnika, Debiala, Daku E Krintelo, Wash Waniaka Dopa e Haya Rau Wa Unspe Ichichia, Washkan, Daku Ota Unspe, Kia, Ash Bokas de Epi Ichiaki, Owaiwa Wankatuakale, You Makish, Na Kokan Etama, You Makia, Gay Krinkta, Getcha. Washicho Wonspe Okanana Pip, Mayashni. Nanako. Sorry, I just added overwhelmed. Nanakun Dona Wiana with Chasha Ea Mikoka, Nayajindiki, Apinia, Anta Washicho Wonspe, Konichi Yashnik, Wanaslovayo. O Umkichia, Ogana Yuharadama, Omakina, O Umkichia Ogana, Onichia, koja inja, echa kuntishne, yakab unkoki bikil. Koja yopia unkumpi, unkan ich iglezapi. Echa unspe unkichia unkoki. Echa sutaya na unji pikte. Echa unkumpi, unkogi pik. Dokeshke na unji pikte. Unkan ich iglezapi, Phillips. Wana la kolia tako ea bigudushtan, letana wana washichu yehowa wakinto. And I basically just kind of said, in essence, what I said before. And there are 4 things I learned here on my trip through the school. And that is that as natives, I learned that we can do this by listening to our feelings, following our own hearts, knowing that we are good enough as we are, as a modern people, and just simply by supporting each other. Thank you.
I thought we were gonna have to get the book. No. Okay, our next Ikchemi is Lilly Torres, Flandrew, Santee, Dakota. She got her BMS in environmental science. Lilly, step up and order the paper. I wanted to tell you one more thing too. You notice they draped the men's blankets over their left shoulder. That's how we're supposed to do dress the men. You put it around them when they're females or if you're going to marry them. Denny. So I was glad to see our faculty doing that because we've been doing it wrong for a few years, but now they got it figured out. So that's great. Now you young men go out and drape that blanket over some young woman. You'll be calling me to do the marriage ceremony. You know, that's a hunka, you know. That's an adoption ceremony. You're taking a relative. A little class lesson.
So I promise not to talk about it apparently. But I just want to say, Lilly, I'm really proud of you. You know, I enjoyed doing that independent study with you, and you know, I think that kind of the sky's the limit in terms of what you're capable of. You've had kind of interesting jobs and so forth. But I've just enjoyed, I know that you also helped stabilize the Native Studies office with your presence. You know, you were with Gary, and I know that you also supported in that meeting, Dr. Napton. Ultimately ended up with, one of them. We're so proud to have Dr. Haliga with us. And so you were in that meeting and showed that support. And so I'm just really proud of you and congratulations.
Somebody want to come up and speak for Lilly or about her? There's one, please. They're lining up holding patterns.
Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations. And I'm very proud to be your friend and to have gone through the education journey that we have. Like I said, Lilly was my friend in the class that we met in Dr. Schuster's class of geography. We remained in contact throughout her time here, doing all my time as well. And I'm just so happy for you. And like I said, I just really want to congratulate you, and you're going to go on to do great things. And you will.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Du, and I'm Lilly Torres' mother. And Anytime somebody would graduate in our family, my grandma would always say, "You make my heart soar like an eagle." And as a kid, I thought it was so corny. But as a mother, I totally understand that. I feel like I'm bursting with happiness. And I want to personally thank the faculty and the professors for being there and stepping into that, being that family when my daughter didn't have family close here. We were far away. And I can see as an outsider that you guys are a family. This Native Studies, you guys came together and you were that missing link as a family. And thank you for being there for our students, for our children, because they needed that when they're far away from home. Thank you. May God bless you.
You go, Bob.
I just wanted to thank Brady and I want to thank Gary for just always being super supportive and helping me along my journey.
Last but not least on our list, and I'll just give you a little what's up here. After Lisa and all of her family and relatives talk, then we're going to have all the honorees go stand in front of the drum for an honor song. This is how we do. And then after the honorings, or I'm going to sing a prayer, then after the honoring song, they'll sing a traveling song and everybody can go shake hands and take pictures or whatever. And then we will excuse you. Remember, in our country, if you don't leave until the ceremony is, you tell your excuse till the ceremony's over. So, I know one time in Macy, I started eating before they told us to eat. Boy, did I get in big trouble. Yeah, the boss just puts that food away, and one of my former students from way back in the days came up and said, "Geez, Fiscus, you know better than that. I'd about come over there and knock that plate out of your hand." I said, "Well, you should have, because I didn't know any better." But after that, I figured it out. So anyway, just say about that much, and I'd like to invite Lisa Ehlers. Did I say that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Lisa Ehlers, BS in psychology. Come on up, we'll dress you. Put your robes on you. Oh, I'm good. I'm glad I did. I want to thank my brothers and my son for doing these honors of dressing the graduates, you know, because that gives them a blessing too. That's like a little prayer, everything they do for them. So it's nice. They do that with a good heart. Some people seeing us do this and they would be like, "What the heck?" But you know, this is how we do to honor our relatives. Congratulations. Who's going to come up to speak about Lisa Ehlers?
Lisa is my mother. She's been an amazing inspiration, finishing her degree after 10 years after me. I stood on the stage exactly 10 years ago during my honoring ceremony. I'm just very proud that you stuck with this, especially through COVID, holding down a full-time job, being a grandmother of now 8 grandkids. She really rocked it. She got every honor that there was to get. She just made me very, very proud that she's my mom. And I'm pretty sure you kicked this graduation ass. I'm just very, very proud of you. And I know
The boys are very proud of you, all of your other grandkids that aren't here. I know Erin's very proud of you. And I'm just really glad to be your daughter and see you finish this after all this time.
I came here and my thought was, I'm just gonna take a couple classes and see if I have it in me, and somehow I got A's in those classes. I'm like, oh, I'm kinda good at this, let's try 2 more. And so I graduate tomorrow. Confidence is not my superpower, but I had Dr. Smith here and I had Dr. Ritter, and they are awesome at giving feedback to students, which is really important for us confidence challenged ones anyway. There were times I didn't think I could do it. I'm like, God, I'm a grandmother for Pete's sake, and I'm working full time, and I have all of my other stuff, and I would turn in a paper and I'm like, God, this is an F. I know it's an F. And then Dr. Ritter and Dr. Smith, you were so good at saying, you know, you rock this. And I'm like, wow, what? And you just really gave me the confidence to keep trying harder. And I do my best to not have a lot of regrets. I never got to take your story about office.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna have to come back here.
My tribal college is zooming in. I zoomed it last. I'll let you know.
Let me know, yeah. Because really, I went to my first sweat lodge and my first smudging when I was in my 30s.
Oh, that's good though.
My grandmother is descended from Cheyenne. Not registered anywhere because natives have to do that. We have to prove what we are. So, and I learned a little bit from there, and then I learned a little more, and then I learned a little more, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this group. It means a lot to me that I was able to take these classes and learn these things and meet these incredible people. Well, just now meeting you for the first time, some of you. So, thank you for all that you've done for me in my career again.
Okay, I know it's hard to believe, and I hate to tell you this, but that's all, folks. I'm going to sing a prayer now. The prayer that I'm singing is about giving thanks. It says, Grandfather, we give thanks. We are praying and staying on the good, living the good life. So we give thanks, and that's what we did here tonight. We gave thanks for all of these students. There's 2 words. There's wopila, which is the act of giving thanks, and there's pilamaye, which is thank you. Oh, no, thank you. So this song says wopila. Tonka shela wopila yelo ape tukele waki yelo hey Takuyelo, Masa Nikelo, Wapila Yelo, hey. Well, hey, well, hey, well, hey, well, hey, hey, well, hey, well, hey, well, ho, hello, hey. Tonka shela wopila yelo ampe tukele waki yelo hey mi taku yelo maza niktelo wopila yelo hey Hechi tu mi takyase. Graduates, will you come up here by the drum, please? Bring your I was going to say bring your rags, bring your robes. having some going? Did you want to talk? All right, let's do it. Get them, shake their hands and take the extra food home. They're Ziplocs. In Lakota, it's called watecha. Take it home, eat it later.
Hey, really quick, everyone, for your blankets, we have your boxes up here to store your blankets in. Graduates, your blankets, we have boxes for your blankets up here.